If you're not new to my channel, you know that I like tools and toys and gadgets, and I've got quite a few of them. So when Banggood reached out and asked me if I wanted some free tools to review, I was like, sign me up. A couple of them arrived 2 days ago, but the rest of them came today, and I haven't opened them, so you'll see my first impression. The only thing I was a bit worried about, because I didn't really know the brand, was what if this sucks? I don't want to lie about it, so if it sucks, I'm just gonna say it. I was a bit nervous, but you'll see my first impressions and let's see if it's any good. Let's start with this small box and I'll link all the items in the description. I'll tell you the price and my opinion, whether it's any good or not, and if it's worth buying. Let's have a look at the first one. And this is the cutest little hammer that I've ever seen. So this is a very nice hard case that's padded inside, and this is a small brass mallet. It's very heavy and it looks incredibly well made, which is kind of surprising. I didn't expect this, to be honest. So this is a solid wood handle with a screw on the bottom, and these you can unscrew and you can swap them for the plastic ones depending on what you're using it for, or you can have one of each. This is a bit shocking, to be honest. It's super nice and is very well made. I was expecting something, a bit cheap and crappy, like from one of the other online stores that I'm not gonna mention the name, but you probably know what I'm talking about. You know that I like brass, right? So anything shiny, I guess. It's so pretty, I almost don't want to use it because I don't want to scratch it. We're off to a good start. Let's see what else I've got. Here's another box. And this is thin rib jig. So this is something you would put on the fence of your table saw, and this will allow you to cut thin strips of wood. Very nicely made. It's not loose at all. It feels solid when you tighten the knobs. Those bearings feel very nice. All right, let's see what this is. Looks like these are clamps for my workbench. So these clamps are super useful, and the reason I wanted them is because let's say you want to put a couple of dominoes in. And now I can use my cute little hammer slash mallet. This isn't particularly straight, but I just wanted to show you how it works, so don't worry about this. Another job you can use a little brass hammer for is when you need to chisel something out. You get the idea. This feels very satisfying and feels very secure. It's, I mean, I don't know how you can make this better. So far, I'm very impressed, and both of these, given the price of the clamps and the mallet, definitely 10 out of 10. And this is just the cutest thing I've ever seen. All right, let's see what we've got in here. There are actually a few boxes inside. So this is a different type of tabletop clamp. And the reason I wanted to get this is because it's very useful, for example, when you want to sand a piece of wood, like the one that I just put together with dominoes. If you have a bench like the one that I have, they often come with bench dogs, which is something like this. And you literally just stick it in the hole, press this against it, and then use the clamp to secure the piece of wood that you want to work on. And now you can sand it or do whatever you need to do with it. And it doesn't move, doesn't slide around, and just makes your life easier. This is metal. The mechanism seems very nicely put together. Definitely not a cheap thing. This is rubberized as well, not just plastic, to make sure that the grip will be more secure. And I'm not just being nice. I genuinely think these are good quality, and for the price, which I'll show you, I think this is a great deal. This actually comes with instructions or user manual, which actually looks decent, and it is in English, so that's helpful. It comes with these nuts, and you basically just screw it underneath to make sure that this doesn't, come off. But you can rotate this in whatever direction you want. So when you have a bench top like this one, this is just super handy. And if you combine these clamps with this type of clamp, you can see how useful these can be. It gives you so many options for clamping, and you can approach the piece from different angles depending on what you're doing. Just gives you lots of flexibility. Super happy with both of them. All right, let's see what we got here. I think this is the drill guide. I've wanted something like this for a while. I've seen these all over the internet. I don't think it comes with any instructions, but I can probably figure this out. You can adjust the depth, so you can have a depth stop, so it doesn't drill any lower than you want it to. This is when you can't use a drill press and you need to drill a straight hole. I'm guessing that this is basically some sort of fence that you can attach to this. Probably for most scenarios I won't be using this. You basically mark the hole, set this on top, and attach your screwdriver just like this. This is super easy. All right, let's try it out. See, this is just perfect example of when you can use this clamp. This is how simple it is. All right, so what do I think? This is made of steel. It's magnetic. It's well fitted. There is no movement at all. It's not loose at all. I've never used one of these before, so it's difficult for me to compare it to anything else, but from what I can see and tell and how easy it was to use, it will just do the job. I think this is just perfect for what it is. Looks solid to me. It does exactly what it needs to do. So again, it's a win. Last two boxes. So these are one-way feeder guides. You basically attach these to your fence on a table saw or a planer or whatever else, and this way it will protect you from kickbacks. They look very nicely made. This is rubberized, and again, this feels great. It's solid. Let's see how this works. because you can just literally slide this into the T-track. You can use one of them to hold the wood down and the other one to press it against the fence so there is no movement. So this is the jig for cutting thin strips of wood, and it's super easy to install it. You literally just slide it into this T-slot, and you can actually use both of these at the same time, and this will press the piece of wood down and this will press it against the fence, so it has nowhere to go. And this is just how you adjust it. Super easy. This might be actually the feature that I'm the most excited for, because these are expansion shims for adjustment to fit the miter slot. So this will allow you to make sure that there is no wiggle or movement in the T-slot. This is very heavy and feels very substantial. Super easy to put it together. You basically just slide these two screws into this slot like this, and there are knobs in the back to tighten this, and then this just slides on the top. And just look how this is made. There's a micro adjustment to move the stop back and forth. That's just super nice. So this micro adjustment allows you to move this back and forth. You can actually look at the scale in the back and know exactly where it is. You can adjust the little pin in the back to make sure that this is very accurate. This is super nice. And just the thought that they put into making this, it actually looks pretty cool. There is a little magnifying glass so you can actually see the numbers better. And this fence extends, and this is steel. This feels very nice. Let's see how it works. You literally just slide it into the T-track, just like this. And these shims allow you to make it fit even better, but there's literally no movement whatsoever. So this fits perfectly, so I don't need to do this. And then you pull this back to adjust the angle, and you can obviously move this back and forth. This stop allows you to make repeated cuts, so you can set it to wherever, and this way it will always be the same length. This fence is extendable. When you're working on a long piece, this just makes it easier. And this micro adjustment allows you to move this stop back and forth until you get the perfect measurement, which is super nice. This miter has positive stops, so you can feel and hear a click when you're moving this. So for example, at 0, you know exactly where it is, you don't need to guess. Even without tightening this handle, there's no movement at all. So just to give you an idea how this works, if you've never used miter gauge like this. You basically can use it to make repeated cuts of the same shape. So just to give you an idea, this is my old miter gauge with fence, and I looked it up and I paid for this about 130 American dollars, which is about 100 British pounds. And this is about 179 pounds, 230 American dollars. I don't really need to explain the difference because you can see the quality. I mean, there's no comparison. This is on a completely different level. It feels amazing, it works really well, and the level of adjustments, refinements, and calibration on this fence, there's no comparison. So yes, this is a little more expensive, but I think it's still quite cheap given what you're getting for the money. I don't want to sound like I'm happy with everything and everything is perfect, and I'm really trying to find something that I don't like about this, but I can't. Look at this. If anyone is local to Bristol and you guys want my old miter gauge with fence, I'm happy to give it away because I'm definitely keeping this one. Let's see what's in the last box. It does actually say operation manual in English, but everything else is in Chinese. Fortunately, there are some pictures, so I might be able to figure it out. So the first major problem with this is that this comes with the American plug. This comes with an adapter to plug it into an outlet, but this will only go with this plug. But I still need to plug my router into this device so I can actually use this switch. So I think the way around it, I'm just gonna use my cordless one because I do have one. So I'll just need to turn it on and off every time I want to use it, and I won't be able to utilize this built-in switch, but at least I'll be able to show you how it works. This is a mortising jig, and you will need a router to use it. So this is just an adapter, so you can use an existing machine that you have. You basically stick it in here and it will allow you to cut mortises. So it kind of works like the domino joiner in a way. I'm assuming this goes on top. So you'll be able to put it on the piece you're working on and adjust the depth. Let me put my little Makita router in it and see how it works. Obviously, I'll change the plug so it's not a big deal, but out of the box I can't use it as it is. Fortunately, I've got a way around it. You can use these screws to adjust the movement right and left, and then obviously you can adjust how deep you want this router to sit in this enclosure. So I feel like I got it right. Let's give it a try. Well, it worked. So as you can see, it did exactly what it was supposed to do, and you can use it for joinery like you do Festool domino. So what do I think about it? Once you actually get this set up and you adjust it to where it needed to be and you want to just make the same cuts over and over, this works well, and this costs $49.99, which is about 40 pounds. And you can basically do the same job that Festool Domino will do, but Festool costs about £1,000 and this costs 40. So might not be perfect and you might need to do a little bit more work to actually use this, but £1,000, 40 pounds. I mean, obviously you need a router, which you can use something much cheaper than Makita, but even Makita, the corded one, I don't know, I think it's like £200 or something. So this is still 5 times cheaper than the Festool Domino and will allow you to do similar job. So I think for the price, it's a win. Might not be perfect again, but this is $49.99, 40 pounds. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? Overall, I'm very impressed with Banggood, and I did not expect these to be as nice as they are. The quality, the price, and the usefulness of these tools, super good. My favorite, it's a toss between this super cute brass hammer and this miter gauge fence. These are just so nice, and I'm genuinely impressed with these. But all the guides and the clamps and this guide for your drill, super useful. This is a bit tricky because the plugs, you know, you need adapters or you need to change the plugs, and there was no manual in English, so you need to figure this out. There's lots of screws and adjustments to get this right, but when you do get it right, this is £40 compared to £1,000 for the Festool Domino. So, you know, this is just ridiculously cheap, and you can't go wrong with this, and it does the job. So if you don't want to spend £1,000 and you want to cut some mortises or dominoes, you can just get this. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll post all the links to these tools in the description so you can check this out. Thank you to Banggood for sending these tools and for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.